Welcome back.
To Saad and Selina podcast.
Actually, it's called Chai Chat,
Oh, yeah.
but it's also true.
Yeah, but I think Chai Chat is more catchy.
True.
But how are you? How's everything?
Very good. I'm very good. Yeah, everything is good. Busy uni week, but all good so far. And how
Yeah,
are you?
I'm also good. Yeah, just same old, I would say. But I think yeah, life's good overall. How's the uni stuff going? Is it already like getting into the exam feel or not yet?
I think now we're at this point where I should start
Yeah,
studying, but there's still so many classes left. You're also
yeah,
does it make sense now? I think yes, sort of. It makes
mm,
sense. But I was talking with one of my friends and I asked her, "Did you start already? Like, how are you?" So that I just know, am I so far behind or am I good? And she said,
yeah,
um, I'm going to the classes. I said,
yeah,
"Then really good." Yeah, because I think the last time, I don't know if it was a mistake or whatever. So the first exam season was not so easy for me.
yeah. It also
And
changed after a while, right? So I think
yeah,
that's also natural.
that's true.
And it's also like in my experience, like German university exams are so different even from my undergraduate. It's
Yeah.
also crazy.
But I think I also did something wrong with the learning. I don't know if that's possible, but maybe I started too early. And
Yeah,
then some knowledge was too far
could be.
behind. I'm not sure. So let's see how it goes. But yeah, we're still at the point and we're learning still a lot. So yeah, let's see. But I think for now it's quite good. Yeah.
Manageable.
Yeah. I think it's
That's good.
going
When are the exams exactly? Which
beginning of August.
so still there's like July.
Yeah. Which
Okay,
is
yeah.
packed.
Yeah.
New topic. So yeah.
Yeah. I think it's always like the same thing. Personally, my like thing that I learned at the end was you should always just get to know the exam a bit
Yeah.
at German universities. The reason is because everything's based on the last exam. Like there's no way you can make up for the grade in any other way, right? Like there's no um, half year exam. There's just one final exam, which
Yeah.
is 100%. So I think it's always a good idea to find out what that is and then try to, I think, use that as a template to learn which level of detail you need, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's true. And I also don't think that they're so oh yeah, let's do some new questions and
Yeah,
they're very lazy and just use sometimes even the same questions
yeah.
or
Like I
just
think
changed a bit.
it's interesting. Even if it's not the same questions, it's almost the same, right? Like in a lot of these courses that I took, it was the exam was almost identical. Like they changed some values or they changed some like if it was like a social sciences course, like organization behavior or something. Um, there's not a lot also that they can change. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's
mean?
true.
Like the book is the same, and it's like the concepts are the same. So they usually just, I think, either like you say, rehash the same exam, or even if they change like certain values here and there.
Yeah,
Even for like engineering courses, I would say it's almost similar. So I think always a good idea to look at the final
I think
exam.
that is your advice because I heard you just passed an exam. Is that right?
Wow.
Did you? Which one was it?
I passed my actually my B1 German exam, which
Oh.
was a thank you. There was a big thing in my head. Like I'd built it up. Like, oh, I don't know, it's this thing. But to be honest, it was, I would say, the day on the exam, I felt it was more difficult than the practice exams. But
Mm-hmm.
overall, my experience, I would say, it's not that difficult. I took the TAC B1 exam, right? And like I've spoken German with you, right?
Yeah.
So it's not like I'm at the native level, but I think I haven't been like actively these entire 3 years learning
Yeah.
German the entire time. But I think at the same time, I would say it wasn't as difficult as I thought it would.
Yeah, I think we could definitely do this podcast also in German.
Wow,
I
so much faith
think
in my German.
Your German is really good. Like, I think the grammar is always like it's in
Yeah,
every language. It's so hard. Like,
yeah,
especially German. Sometimes I also don't get it. Why is this article it doesn't make sense?
yeah, 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 yeah.
So that's why I think you didn't need to like be like, oh my God, I don't get the grammar that much, so I will not pass. You should not go
Yeah.
crazy on that, I think.
I think that's actually a really good point, and I'm hoping to also make a video about the same topic. So thank you for that. But the same thing, like I think I've also made the same mistake when learning a new language, that just focusing too much on the grammar rules, I think
Hmm.
it does two things. One is it's first of all not rewarding, and then you're just feeling like, oh, damn it, this sucks, right? Like I need to learn like infinitive, and then what's the conjugation, or is it
Hmm.
there, d or does, and then you spend the second thing it does is you spend the entire time doing that, and you're not focusing on the more major thing, which
Yeah.
is the purpose of the language, is you
Hmm.
understand what you're reading, what you're saying, what someone is saying. And I think that's important because, like, you probably like it's the same thing. Like your English is also so good, so it's not like you can correct me if I'm wrong. You don't probably think about the grammar every single time when you're speaking English,
Yeah, I
right?
think still sometimes I think like, oh, I did a mistake, like because
Yeah,
like,
but that's the point,
but
right?
this
Like
is
I think,
not. I'm still speaking it. I'm just saying it, but then
yeah,
afterwards, I'm asking also, was
yeah,
it right? Or
yeah,
also when I was in Canada, my English was not good, like at the beginning.
yeah,
And then I talked a lot with my host mom, and she always said, "Your English is so cute. You have this
yeah,
German accent." And then she was always also like, she never said anything when I said something wrong. She
yeah,
was always so like, "It's so nice that you're just speaking." And I think this is
exactly,
the most important thing is just do
exactly.
it, right?
Yeah, and I think that's the point. Like, even if you make a mistake, personally, I also make mistakes with English, right? But I'm not like, I don't go back to the grammar rules a lot of the times to fix that mistake.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just have this feeling, I don't know how to explain it,
Mm-hmm.
but I have this feeling where it's like, that doesn't sound right,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
And even in Urdu,
yeah.
right?
I also have it in German,
Right? Like,
definitely. Yeah.
it's like you have this feeling because I think it's not that you personally, I don't remember most of the rules of
Mm-hmm.
English. I think I've done it over several years so much, and I've learned or heard the right things that when something wrong comes up, I'm like,
Yeah,
that doesn't sound right.
yeah, definitely.
Right. So I think, and like you say, I think it's just everyone says this, but I also didn't do it initially, which was just do it, right? Like, don't build it up too much to be like, oh, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's like, oh, just speak,
And then you
literally.
did it. That's really good. But how is the B1 exam? Is it like the TOEFL? So I did the TOEFL, you did the IELTS. So is
Yeah,
it
we
like
should
this?
talk about that also. Definitely. It's I think it's I would say it's better in the sense that, first of all, I mean, and somebody can fact check me on this, but I think the B1 exam is forever, right? Like these TELC or TOEFL exams for German, they're
The
forever.
certificate, you mean then?
Exactly. Like, you
Okay,
don't have to
okay,
keep taking.
okay.
The IELTS exam is just for 2 years.
Yeah, and it's also so crazy expensive.
It's exactly. It's like,
It's
what are you doing
so insane.
with these things? Like, and I took it, and so let me do the B1 first, and then maybe I do the
Mm-hmm.
IELTS, and of course, let's also talk about the TOEFL because I think you took that one in
Yeah,
Canada,
yeah.
right? So, I think the B1 exam was nice in the sense that, um, like, there was a clear expectation in terms of this is what you should need to know, this is what the exam looks like, and I think if you study for it, in my personal experience, if you have some knowledge of German, I studied, I think, for like 2 weeks properly, and I think even if you study for it for a couple of months, I think you should be good to go.
And mostly you did the exams, or as correct?
Exactly. Like, I
Okay.
think my strategy would also be the same. Like, and I think I did the same thing with the IELTS. Because the first thing you should do is you should understand the exam. Like, do one exam, even if it sucks, just do it, get it out of the way. That just gives you a lot of, first of all, confidence, and then secondly, it also gives you an understanding of what to do. And then I just literally just used one book, and I did that, and I did the exams with it.
That sounds really
But
good.
I think my experience with the B1 was really positive, I think IELTS was also positive. IELTS I was much more comfortable with because I knew that I'd studied English for so long. But I'm saying the B1 exam was positive because I just had this one book,
Mm-hmm.
and with the full-time job, I just really didn't have the bandwidth to be like I look up everything from
Mm-hmm.
different sources. For IELTS, I did that a lot. Like I looked up different sources from YouTube, from books, etc. For B1, I just stuck to one, and I was like, I'm just going to 80-20 to this one, and I think it worked really well.
Yeah, okay, because you just said with the YouTube, honestly, that was the most, I thought it was so annoying because I also needed to prepare for the TOEFL, right?
Yeah,
And then I was also doing research, like how can I improve the English, what are the tasks, how did
yeah,
the exam look, whatever. And then you go on this YouTube, and there are a lot of videos, like
yeah,
it's so
yeah,
crazy. It's like a business.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
So they start with something and they show you like a little bit, or they do some practice of you, and then at the end it's always like, yeah, now sign up for my
Yeah,
6-day course or for my whatever course, so you pass it and then you pay $80 again to them.
yeah,
It's like I already paid almost 300
yeah,
to take this, so
exactly.
it's
Yeah,
enough.
true,
It's so
true,
crazy.
true, true, true. I think so. If I think one of the problems with these YouTube videos, so I've also created these videos, but I think one of the biggest problems that I personally think is there is they're very unstructured. Like there's, like you said, there's first of all hundreds of people
Hmm.
who are offering these. If you just search for IELTS writing or IELTS speak, and then it's like a lot of these videos they don't cover end to end what you should do in that one particular
Hmm.
task. Like they'll talk about, okay, these are the grammar things that you should know. Like, yeah, but at the end of the day, I need to pass the exam and I need to understand what the expectation of the exam is,
Yeah, yeah,
right? Instead of this whole like it goes on a tangent and then it comes back to the same thing of, you know, it's usually everything is like they tease something and they're like, you need to buy my course to get
yeah.
that.
That's really annoying.
Let's not, but I guess it's also fair, right? Like they also need to make money
Yeah,
for
sure.
this, so I think it's fair. But I think the exams in and of themselves are pretty like expensive. I think
Yeah,
my
definitely.
IELTS exam in Pakistan, I was like, I don't remember exactly how much it was, but I do remember thinking, being like, this expires after 2 years.
But why did you take it?
I actually needed it um for coming to Germany, for because my
For Toon.
for TOEFL or in other courses because essentially they do need to know if your English is good enough for the course that you're studying, like the language that you're studying the course in.
But you also had in school English. Is it not on your, like, from the school?
Yeah, true. I think some people also don't take it. One of the things they sometimes do is that they ask their undergraduate university to give them a
Mm-hmm.
letter being like, yeah, they don't need to pass the TOEFL or
Mm.
IELTS, but it's also like sometimes universities just like, yeah, we don't accept it.
Yeah, I think it really depends on the university.
Exactly.
Sometimes they really like, yeah, we need to see this, and
Yeah,
sometimes you're like, yeah, it's fine.
yeah,
Or you just take an English exam here or something.
exactly.
I think there are so many things you
And
never
like
know.
we talked about, like for German universities, a lot of them are just like, oh, this is the rule,
Yeah,
and you need to follow
we
the rule.
follow it, definitely follow it.
Yeah,
But how was the experience, like the difference between the IELTS and the B1?
I think it's
Both was in
similar.
person, right?
Both of them were in person. Yeah, the IELTS one I actually took it during the COVID time, so that was
Okay.
super interesting. So my speaking, so both of them have similar
Mm-hmm.
structure. Like you need to write something, you need to listen to something and
Mm-hmm.
then answer questions. You need to read something and then answer questions, and then you need to have a speaking
Mm-hmm.
part. So for the IELTS one, my speaking part was just with an examiner, and they were on a laptop, like so they weren't there in person.
Mm.
But I
Okay.
went to the test center and actually gave the exam. For the B1, it's different because the speaking part you have to do it with a partner. So there's
Oh.
also someone there that you have to first of all introduce yourself, then you have to plan something, and then you have to talk about something, and then you have to plan something.
So
together.
there's someone else who's also giving the exam with
Exactly.
you,
Exactly.
and then someone from the
Yeah.
B1
Like the Prüfung,
prüfer.
Prüfer.
Yeah. Interesting. How
Yeah.
is that with a random?
I think it's tougher
Mm-hmm.
a bit because you're basically during the IELTS you're in complete control, right? Like okay, it's all on me.
Mm-hmm.
In the B1 it was different because you also have to converse with the other person,
Yeah.
right? Like so if you don't understand something, then there's a risk that you mess something up there, etc., etc. It was super, to be honest, it was a bit sad with me because there was this old, like, Turkish sort of Oma who was
Hmm.
giving the exam. She was super sweet, but I don't know, she probably needed it for a job or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like she barely understood
Oh.
the task also, right? Like it was sad because basically before the exam, like, you have some time to prepare, which is
Okay.
super nice, right? Like so
That's good.
basically you get a couple of pieces of paper, and then there's the task there that you first of all have to introduce yourself, then this is the topic, and you have to talk about this topic with your partner, and then thirdly this is the thing that you have to
How much time do you have to
uh,
prepare?
20 minutes.
That's
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
Like
it's
at
pretty good.
TOEFL, you have like 15 seconds and then
Yeah,
it
same in
starts.
IELTS also.
This is so crazy. It's like, what?
Exactly. Let's go now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit crazy.
That's crazy. But that's nice and that
Yeah,
you can
it was
prepare.
super nice.
Good.
But so the third one was like you have to plan something. But she was, even in the prep time she was asking the like the proofer that, oh, should I write here something? She was like repeatedly, no, don't write on the thing that I gave you. Just make your own notes and stuff. And yeah, I was a bit like,
But
I
it's
don't know.
then
She
also
passed.
difficult for you, or when you want to have the, and you need to talk with her, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Or
and
is
it's
then,
also more difficult for you
yeah,
if they
because
don't get it also.
there's not really like a talk,
Yeah,
and otherwise, then someone has an idea, and then you can build up on this, right?
exactly.
This
Yeah,
is then a bit hard.
that's actually what happened with me because a lot of the usually the proofer doesn't really step in. Like
Mm-hmm.
they're supposed to not step in. To be like they should converse. But for my exam, the proofer actually had to step in quite a few times. Be like, this is what you need to do. So there's always that risk where you have when you come out the examination to be like, oh, maybe I messed up and maybe I didn't do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I mean, but yeah, I think it worked out for me. But I think it's different in that sense. But for the TOEFL, I don't know what how is it? Is it also similar? Like, what's the structure? Do you remember?
First of all, there's no person. I mean, there are other people also giving the exam.
Yeah,
So for me, it was like a room, and then you always feel like you're sitting in a box
yeah.
in front of a computer, and you have headphones on, and then there are 40 other people also in this room, and
Okay,
then everyone is giving the exam at the same time.
okay.
So you imagine when you're at the speaking and everyone is also
Uh,
speaking. I was always pressing the headphones against my head, so I just was hearing the noise from the what they were saying
yeah.
and what I was answering, and not what the
What the
other
other people
people
are
were
saying.
saying.
That's
It
crazy.
was so crazy. So yeah, I think it's just like there's no break or anything. It just goes through your start of the reading. It's
Yeah.
a lot of reading. I didn't really like the reading. It was really hard, I think. It was so
Okay.
much text and then very difficult questions, I would say.
Okay.
And then the second is the hearing. This is really
Yeah.
good.
Like the listening part,
Yeah.
like you just. But do you, like, is it also like a conversation?
Yeah. Mostly conversations. I think
Okay.
it was something also about college and their rules, and then you have to
Okay.
answer some questions. Really
Okay.
nice. And then the third one is the you need to write a text
Okay.
about a topic. That was surprisingly it was better than I expected.
Okay.
It was really good.
Yeah.
My grammar was not bad, so I was happy about this. And then there's the conversation, which I said immediately starts
Mm.
also. Like, and but it's so weird. You're talking with a computer
Oh, there's no
person.
person.
No, there's no.
Really?
Yeah, there's just
Ooh. Okay.
like someone is talking, like it's an audio file. It's not like a real conversation. So they say something and then there's just a countdown. Okay, now you have 10 seconds to answer, and then it
Okay.
starts. And then if
Okay.
you don't say anything, then you have a time limit from, I think the first two questions are like 30 seconds
Yeah.
and then 60 seconds. And then
Mm.
in this time you need to say something. I don't really remember what it was about anymore, but I think it was
But
like,
it's not a person.
No, it's not a
That's a
question.
bit crazy.
So
Okay.
that's so weird. Just really weird
Hmm.
because then you're really not getting any feeling
Yeah, that
if
if
you
you're
were
making
good
sense.
or
Yeah.
bad or was
True.
it the right answer. You can't really interact with
True.
your at the B1. You at least know, okay, they looked a bit like,
Yeah, yeah,
that
yeah.
was wrong, or yeah, it's going well.
Yeah, true.
So this I didn't like, but yeah,
True.
otherwise I think it's similar.
Yeah, I think it's similar, but I think the grading system is a bit different, right? I
Yeah,
think the IELTS is out of 9, and the B1 TOEFL exam is out of 300, but the TOEFL one is I think out of 120,
yeah, I think
right?
yeah, 120. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's a bit interesting, but I think that IELTS and TOEFL are like um,
very
like
similar.
very similar. Like
Yeah.
there's you can take either usually for for like English proficiency.
Yeah, I also don't know why I decided to take the TOEFL. I think it was like close to my where I was in
Yeah,
Canada. So then I
that's
thought I'd just do it. But yeah, I was also like the preparing time. I was working also in this
yeah.
time when I was doing it, and I was doing the au pair. So this is like some people might say it's not hard work, but my kids were a bit tough. So it's also like a lot when you're working 8 hours per day and then you need to sit down and actually learn or
Yeah,
study
it's always tough.
for this exam. I was always so, no, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, true.
So annoying.
Yeah, no, I can completely relate to that. But I think once you do it, it's the best feeling. It's like,
Yeah,
oh, that's so
yeah.
nice.
I
I
was
did it.
so excited. I was so excited when I was
Yeah,
there. I was so nervous because everything was so,
yeah,
yeah, it's just so many people also they're giving this.
yeah, true,
And if you think about what everyone is paying for this,
true.
this
They're
is
making. I
an
think they'll be good.
insane business.
True. I think yeah, these language testers. It's a bit crazy how much money they're making.
Yeah,
From everyone, if they're getting, I don't know, like just a couple of €100,
true.
and like for instance, when I was giving the IELTS exam, also there was at least like 20, 30 people
Yeah.
in my session, and I'm pretty sure they have like multiple sessions during the day,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then every day almost
Yeah.
on the weekdays.
But it's the
That's
same with the
crazy.
B1, right? There
Yeah,
were also a lot of people.
yeah, a lot of
That's,
people.
that's really crazy. Have you ever taken another language test?
I actually have. I've taken in school. I took the A1 French one, but that was super chill.
Yeah.
Like that was because the whole batch was taking it.
Was
But
it also like an official one?
yeah, so it was,
It's
but it was
nice.
super. It was super. I would say really stupid because basically there was a speaking part. Obviously there were the other parts, but also the speaking part, and everyone was saying the same thing because you could hear what the person in front of you was saying. So
That's
basically, there was a
stupid.
line,
Yeah.
right? Like there was a poofer
Yeah.
at the end of the line, right? Like, and there was a desk, and you like sit there. You had like 15, 20 minutes, and then literally everyone was saying in French, "I have a swimming pool in my house. I play football with my brother, even if they didn't have brothers. My favorite tennis player is so and so." I don't even remember what it was, but it was so funny. Like just this 20 kids and everyone saying I have a pool in my house. The next one coming being like, oh, I also have a pool in my house. It is so.
But did they not say anything? They
I
were
think it was
just
just so like it was A1 first of all. It was
yeah.
the initial one. They were like, yeah, screw it. Why not?
Yeah, otherwise they could also just put the other kids in another room, right?
Yeah,
Not
because
putting them in the row and then okay, next one.
exactly because there was like I think good 200 students they had to deal with
Yeah,
throughout the session. So they were like, yeah, let's just do it this way. But yeah,
that's fun though.
that's too fun. Yeah,
So now you can say you have A1 French also,
yeah, but I
just because
don't
of this.
remember French at
How
all.
old were you in this?
Not sure. I was in class 8, actually,
Maybe 14.
14 or so.
That's
Yeah,
crazy. That's a long time
yeah.
ago.
I don't know French at all. I don't know. Maybe I now I find maybe I've done it. That's why I find, but like I find German more accessible and learnable than the French that I remember.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not really a French fan of the language, to be honest. I also had it in school,
Okay.
like from class 5 to class 10, and I was never really getting, we say, getting warm with it in German.
Yeah. Yeah.
I never had the feeling of like, yeah, I want to learn French because everything was so difficult. You have a word and then like five of these letters you don't say. It's like, why are you writing it then? For
Yeah.
instance, the word hospital, yeah?
L'hôpital.
Yeah, it's like, why are you putting the H at the beginning when you say it in hospital?
Yeah.
It's like, and this is with so many words.
Yeah.
So this was so funny. We had a test and we needed to stand in front like a presentation. Yeah, we need to talk
Okay.
about something, okay? So everyone had their little notes and wrote down. We are not allowed to write every sentence, but
Yeah.
just some notes. So one of my friends, she was standing there and she just wrote how you say it, like how you pronounce the words.
Okay.
But then she was so confused and lost track, so then she didn't know what to say anymore because
She
nothing of
just
these
wrote.
springs was a word anymore. It was
Oh
just
no.
how you say.
Oh no.
Teacher was like, "Show me your notes," and she was so like, "What is that?"
That's too much.
Yeah, but I don't know. French is not really mine. But I think also if you would live in France now,
Exactly.
then it would be easier for you
I was gonna
also.
say the same thing. I think if you're actually, I think that's the same thing with me for German, like because I'm living in Germany, so I also
Mhm.
see the use of it.
Yeah, yeah,
When I was in Pakistan, I was like, why the hell am
truly.
I learning first of all this
Yeah,
language?
yeah,
And this makes zero sense,
yeah.
right? But it was always super funny, like with these speaking things, you always like you wrote memorize something.
Mm-hmm.
Like I play football with my brother, and I have a swimming pool in my house. It's always just it's a bit crazy. It's funny, but I think it's an important language to learn because I think a lot of people speak it, right?
French, you think?
Yeah, I think Spanish also.
Spanish. I would say Spanish is
Yeah,
more. I would also more team Spanish.
it also sounds good Spanish.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
like
know,
it so much.
uh,
I like it so much. It's
upbeat
really, it's
language.
so nice. Yeah, it has this. Yeah, I don't know how to say, it, but they have this vibe.
Yeah, I think
Um,
Italian also has like a passion. Like
passionate
there's also
word.
a passion there. I think a lot of people say German sounds very serious, and I think when did not completely understand it, I think I also felt the same way. But now I sort of understand it. I'm like, it's not that
Yeah, I
crazy.
see it so often on Instagram when they then compare different languages
Yeah,
and then the words, like for instance, hospital
yeah,
again. Then they
so
always do
different.
this example for Germany, but they also say it like
Yeah,
so harsh. You
yeah.
see, dann Krankenhaus.
It's
It's
like
like, who is
nobody's.
saying that?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, I
I,
think, yeah, it's not. There are languages which sound more aggressive, I think.
yeah, probably. But I think it also goes well, like these social media videos and everything. It goes well with the stereotype
Yeah,
of being like serious German, always
yeah,
concerned about work story side of stuff, which I guess is like it's a stereotype. There's also people like that here. I've also met them, right? But I think it's also with the language at least. I would say it's not that harsh.
yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
that crazy. It's
That's true.
like
Yeah, so you all should learn German, definitely, and for sure. Bitte not French, please don't learn French.
well,
Ger
German
German.
ambassador.
Come
German.
on, some people can, like, I think not so many people speak German. The country is also so small.
Switzerland speaks, and Austria.
Yeah, but you think, like,
Yeah, that's not a
what
lot
the
of people.
most spoken language, I think Mandarin,
Yeah,
and then English or Russian. English, I
probably.
think. English, Russian, Spanish, something like this. And
I think
this,
Russian's above Spanish. I think Spanish might be above
yeah, something.
because
It's
of
a
South
very,
America also.
should do some
Portuguese,
research.
you
And
know,
then,
these
um,
languages.
but yeah, these ones, Germany is very, I think, nicht so,
Yeah, I think it's not that like not that many people speak.
yeah.
True.
But I like to learn a new language. I think it's also fun if you, like, it's always better when you have, like, a connection with it.
Yeah,
Like, when you're also actually using it, because
yeah,
I think it's so much harder to learn it, like, when I live in Germany now and I learn Spanish.
yeah. It's like why?
It's like, first of all, why? Second of all, it's so hard when you're not in the
Yeah,
environment.
Yeah.
Like when I was in Canada, I needed to talk
Yeah.
uh English all day long.
Yeah.
There was no like, okay,
There's no choice.
yeah, I had to. So
Yeah.
and then you do it also, and then
Exactly.
you force yourself to like
Yeah.
watch things also in English, and then you really. I had fun then. I
Yeah.
liked it so much to be around English. I liked it
Yeah.
so much. It
Yeah.
was really nice. I don't know why. I don't know how you're feeling here, just being around German.
I think it's different a bit. I like, so I think the initial part is always difficult when you don't understand anything, and then you're like, oh, what the hell's going on? And then obviously if you move to a different country, then it's always a bit like, oh, I don't. You're always a bit shy. You have to go to
Hmm.
the office and stuff. I think it's different because when you move to Canada, your English was already at the point where you could have a conversation.
Yeah, I could have a conversation, but it was still not like it is right now.
It wasn't perfect, yeah, but like I
Yeah.
think you probably still could have, like, you could
Yeah.
largely understand. I think it was not that case for me with German. Like I could sort of understand the basic stuff, like what's my name, etc.
Mit Karte bitte?
Yeah, exactly. Like that was with Kataputa is how 80% of my life. And I think for most foreigners here, that's how it's going. Um, but I think initially it was difficult, but like the more you immerse yourself in the language, like try to like watch your favorite series there
Mhm.
because you already have seen them, you know what
Yeah,
happens,
yeah,
and then if you contextualize it with the language, I think it gets easier. Yeah.
yeah,
Even right now, I would say there's some people who speak so fast.
yeah,
Like
that's
you
true.
also hear some people on the U-Bahn or something which just don't get it at all. But I think it does get better with time, like
Yeah,
most things.
definitely. I think so. And I think your German is already really good.
Uh, that was
But do
Spanish.
you do you miss like Urdu around
Big time.
you?
I think
Yeah.
it was because it's difficult to explain to people. There's some things in Urdu that there's no translation for in English.
Not even English, yeah, not in English.
Like
Hmm.
yeah, even if there's a direct translation, there's some context or some nuance to it or some color to it that there's just not there in English. It's like that's a shame.
Yeah.
Because I personally think Urdu is a very pretty language. It's like very,
Hmm.
I don't know how you felt when you went to
Yeah, it
Pakistan.
sounds really good. You should say something in Urdu, I think.
So, like Urdu में is maybe I put the next few sentences in Urdu. So
Hmm.
उर्दू में यूज जब आप कोई बात कर रहे होते हो काफी ज्यादा एक तो लगता है कि आप तमीज से बात कर रहे हो which means essentially you're saying things in a very polite way.
I should just answer in German now.
So we both don't get anything and
Truly.
then the audience can figure out who's saying what. But like काफी लगता है कि आप तमीज से बात कर रहे हो and I think एक aspect भी है इसमें उर्दू में of respect. I don't know how to explain it, but there's always this weird, not weird, but like there's always this unexplainable aspect of respect
Hmm.
to
Fair.
it because I think it's also to do a lot with the culture.
Yeah.
And I personally don't feel the same way about English
Mm-hmm.
or a lot of things or a lot of contextual things. Like for instance, talking to your parents, you always say "aap."
Mm-hmm. English just you.
It's exactly it's like
Yeah.
you, and it's a bit weird saying that to a
Mm-hmm.
granddad.
True.
Like
But in
you,
German we also have du und sie. Like we also have the difference.
yeah, but it's also then it comes to your level of formality with that person,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's not just a blanket you.
Yeah.
It's not a blanket do or blanket do. There's no blanket do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think if you're related or if you know
Yeah.
the person,
Yeah.
then you can say do. Right?
Yeah.
But I think largely in Urdu, I don't know anyone who, especially if there's older someone, they say tu,
Hmm.
right? Some
Interesting.
maybe some generalize,
Yeah.
but there's always that one or two examples. But you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I definitely do miss Urdu, and
But
I think it's also,
it sounds really nice also. I mean, you're also saying some English words, and is
yeah,
it because they you don't know the word for Urdu?
yeah. My Urdu is also not that good. It's not something to be very proud of, to be honest, because I
Mm-hmm.
think it's that is how languages die, right? Like you don't speak it,
Yeah.
and the next generation doesn't speak it. But and I think my, which is a sad thing to say, I think probably my English is better than my Urdu in a lot of
Mm.
ways because like my mom, she speaks really good Urdu,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some words of obviously I understand them, but I never use them,
Yeah.
right? But yeah, I definitely do miss it. There's so much culture also packed in a
Mm-hmm.
language that I think you can't really convey or experience with another language.
That's true.
Well,
Yeah.
probably with German also.
Yeah, I don't like the part where I'm from in Germany. I don't really miss how they talk because they have a very weird accent.
Hmm.
Like it's hard to understand from someone who's not there. It sounds always like you're swallowing the words, or they even say words like no. Yeah,
Yeah.
no is yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Like just yeah, say yeah. That's
Yeah.
fine. So and there's so many words like this, and I like it when you speak like a clear
Yeah.
German. Yeah, this is so
But I think the way you speak German is much, for instance, I can understand it a lot of times.
that's good.
Yeah. But I think a lot of people, you're right, maybe it's a regional thing also that they either speak really fast or they just say certain phrases
Yeah,
which
auch in
actually,
Bayern,
yeah, exactly.
especially in München, they have also for some words like, for instance, Fahrrad, like bike. They don't say Fahrrad, they say Radl.
That's too good.
Oder for pretzel,
Yeah.
yeah, in German it's Brezel, but
Mm.
they say Brezen.
Great.
Hmm.
Oktoberfest lingo.
Yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah, I really like it. I really like learning different languages, hearing different languages, and I'm always so impressed when someone tells me, "Oh, I speak five languages,"
Yeah,
or I
that's really
can
cool.
understand Spanish, French, English, German, Deutsch. I'm like, wow, that's
True.
amazing.
True. True.
It's really cool because even when you just go somewhere, you feel so much more comfortable,
Definitely, yeah.
right?
Yeah, when you know the language, yeah. Definitely, for sure. I also technically like, so my dad speaks Punjabi.
Mm-hmm.
I don't speak it. I can understand it.
Hmm.
I can speak
Okay.
it like, I mean, I could speak it, but I don't speak it that often. I don't think I've spoken it this year or something.
But is it similar?
It's not that similar to Urdu.
Hmm.
Like it sounds, certain words are similar, but since you mentioned different languages, that's why I brought it up that even within Pakistan, there's different regions. That's a crazy thought that different regions don't understand each other at all.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like it's like basically in the northwest, there's Pashto. I have zero idea what
What is it called?
Pashto.
Oh.
Yeah, it's so like it's so different to Urdu.
Hmm.
My like dad's mother tongue, which is Punjabi.
Mm-hmm.
It's also obviously like where I'm from, Lahore. You speak a mix of both, right? Like you can understand
Yeah.
both. You hear both a lot, but you also hear Punjabi more
Mm-hmm.
because that's actually the quote unquote mother tongue there. But it's not that similar. I think if someone's just Urdu speaking and if you threw them into like an old town Lahore somewhere or maybe like a rural Punjab,
Mm-hmm.
it's like I think they
Crazy.
won't be able to understand it.
That's so crazy.
But uh, but yeah, it's also different because I think it's also different to explain to people in Europe that like a whole country has completely different languages.
Yeah, I mean, different accent I get. It makes
Exactly.
sense because of different regions, but completely different languages. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But like, Germany is also small, right?
Yeah.
It's
True.
compared to Pakistan,
Yeah.
that's a bit crazy.
Yeah. But it's also interesting, right? Like every different part of Europe has their own language in their own country. Like French, then Spain, Spanish. I guess Austria is similar in the
True.
sense that they speak the same language, but
True, but
Too
overall, I
much.
think if you speak a good English, compared from France, they're a bit different there, but the other countries, then you're good, I think, when you want to travel or go somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I think for living and working, probably you need to, like,
yeah,
or I would like to then, if I would move to Spain, let's say that, or Italy, I would like to learn the language
yeah,
also because it also just makes your life easier,
yeah. That's true.
probably work. But overall, when you like do traveling, I think English is the go-to language.
Yeah,
That
true.
is so like fine.
Yeah,
Even
true.
if some people they don't want to speak it, but then you just have to, okay, we need to like
Do something right. I get it. I
arrange
get
somehow, yeah. So just try it because also in Canada, some like they have two
it.
languages,
Yeah,
right? They have
yeah,
English and French. So some regions they're completely like, oh, we're not speaking English. They even have just signs in French,
yeah,
which is then like, okay, relax.
yeah. It's also similar, right? Like I don't know if it's just a French thing, but some encounters here, it's also like, I went to this photocopy shop or printing shop, and this guy was so like, I tried to explain to him,
Mhm.
first of all, in English,
Mhm.
and then he was just like, no, no speaking. And I was like, you need,
Was that in Germany?
yeah,
Oh,
like,
okay.
we just figure something out,
Mhm.
guys. Like, we need to talk about this.
Mhm. I need
And then I
this.
try, it's like, okay, maybe I'm being unfair. Then I explained in German, obviously in broken German here, there. There's also, yeah, no.
Oh
But
my
yeah.
God, yeah. Sometimes you also meet this
But
kind of
the reason I
person.
mentioned that is the same point as you. Like, I think you shouldn't be that strung up about this, like, especially with travelers.
Yeah.
It's like, it's fine.
Yeah,
Like,
or students or just people from a different country just moved here.
it's,
This is
yeah, it's
okay
like
if
just,
I'm not learning this language in one day.
yeah, and also like people also just get, have this blanket thing of being like, why aren't you learning the language? It's like, I am. It
Yeah.
just takes a while.
It takes a while,
Yeah, like it's
definitely.
not like I right now I'm like, okay, now I came to Germany and 1 month later I will be fluent. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not. That's not how it works. You have to give
There's
it some
also
time.
lives, right, going on.
Exactly, like you
Like
have
you
work,
work, you study,
study, etc.
whatever, and then it's like, okay, and I'm still trying to learn a language. That's a
Yeah,
lot at
yeah,
one
yeah,
point. And I still think that's very great when someone is actually putting so much effort in it
yeah.
and learning it and trying, and then still people are like, oh, your German is still so bad. It's like, sorry, how is your English?
Yeah, but I think one thing I will say is usually people, obviously there's just like bad people everywhere who be like, why is your German still so bad? But most locals I've met, like in Germany,
Yeah,
they've been very
nice.
nice. They've said,
Okay,
yeah,
that's
it's German. They usually say, oh, German's really difficult, so we can
mm-hmm.
understand. It's fine. But
Yeah, that's true.
there's always like these one or two cases where it's like, oh, how long have you been in Germany? Why
Mm-hmm.
are you not fluent? It's like your English is so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And I get, yeah, you're in Germany and you're comfortable, whatever, but like, holy shit, come on.
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't judge people like that.
Yeah, I think it's not a crime. I mean, go to Berlin. Who speaks German there?
That's true.
The language is English.
Yeah,
This
that's true.
is crazy.
Yeah, yeah. I think it
And that
also
is the
depends where you are.
capital. So
Yeah, true.
I think it's fine.
But I think Berlin's just a different world.
Yeah,
They're in a different
truly,
universe.
truly.
There.
Truly
I
different.
think in Munich also you can get by with English, to be honest. A lot of the times major places, yeah, obviously if you need to get some work done, but you need to interact with
Mm-hmm.
the bureaucracy or something, it's also a bit like, no, no, you need to know German a bit.
Okay, but now I need to know something from your perspective. So how is it? How are the Germans? Are they open? Like if you go out and to meet someone, right? Like making friends or
Yeah.
whatever. Are they like open then to talk even if it's in English, or how are they? Or are they more like, no, I want to have a
You mean like
conversation?
students or like if you meet someone?
Like just overall, what is your feeling? What is your vibe?
I think compared to like, so just based on my experience of just moving directly from Pakistan, I think they're obviously a bit more closed off than Pakistani,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's also not that crazy. Of it's like, especially if in your university, people are pretty open,
Mm-hmm.
right? obviously most locals have their own friends from their bachelors if you're
Mhm.
moving in your masters, but I think that's everywhere, to be honest.
Mhm.
Like I imagine, for instance, when I was in Lums, if someone from another country moved to Lums, obviously most people have their own groups
Yeah.
already
Yeah.
established.
Yeah.
So I think it's the same thing here. I do believe a bit about the fact that it's not that easy to get close to someone,
Mhm.
but I think once you do get close to them, then you're good.
Yeah.
Then I think then you're usually for a longer period of time your friends, which I
Yeah.
like personally.
Yeah. I also think they're usually loyal when you have like when you
Exactly. Yeah.
catch them,
Yeah.
you're good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, it's not catched, it's caught.
It's whatever you want it to be.
But what is,
But yeah, it's good.
yeah. So,
No, actually, in that sentence, it was catch.
really?
Yeah.
Okay. So, anyways, see, we're trying.
Yeah, I'm going for it.
But yeah, I think then you have a good friend,
Yeah.
like definitely, which I felt like in the US, especially in New York. Oh my God, these people are so outgoing.
Yeah.
Like they just talk with you, but
Anyone
it's just like,
with surface level,
yeah, definitely.
right?
It's not really deep. You can feel there's not going to be a friendship.
Yeah.
It's just so like, oh my God, your shoes are so amazing, or you have the most wonderful smile. Like they're
Yeah.
very like going crazy, which is so like for you as a German, which you're not getting that many compliments, or
Like nicht.
people are not so outgoing. It's like,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
Is that a thing? But I was so like, it's so nice.
Yeah. No, when I was also in the US, I was in a completely different part in Texas. They were also people are super like outgoing. But I would say like if you're traveling, I think it's super nice, right? Like
Yeah.
people are so open to you, and you can literally talk with anyone, and I think that's super nice. But I think in the long term, yeah, you're right. It's that's why I said I personally like it that when you make loyal, good friends for the long term, I guess that's good.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It's really good, and there's always a reason to come back to the country.
Wow, too good.
Or
German ambassador's back.
I
Too
just
good.
mean in general, I also would like to go to Canada to visit.
Yeah, true.
So I just mean like when you have some friends, like there are also people in the US. I'm not saying this was just an
Yeah, yeah,
example.
obviously there's obviously
There are
there's
also
yeah,
people who are loyal or you can be friends with or they're really nice. I'm
yeah,
just
yeah,
saying from the general feeling, it's
yeah.
like they're more like okay, there's small talk and then good Germans are not doing small talk. There's no small talk.
Yeah, I think
You're not
if you ask someone about the weather, about how they're doing, then they can really explain
the
how
weather.
they're doing and how the weather is and everything.
The weather is very important for
It's
a
not like
German.
how you're doing. Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah.
Usually.
Like in the grocery store, so many people talking the US and
Yeah, yeah,
Canada. There's like they're just talking. In Germany, it's like, oh, I don't want to even look at someone.
yeah.
Otherwise, you're like, why are you
Even in
staring at
Japan,
me?
it's like if you can avoid sitting with someone, people are just standing there. It's
Crazy.
like no way I will sit with someone if I can. No, if I can avoid it.
Imagine someone needs to put their bag on the
Yeah,
floor. It was next to him on the seat, and then someone wants to sit.
yeah,
You get this eye. Someone is rolling their eyes like,
yeah.
honestly, you need to sit now next to me. I was like, are you
Exactly.
serious? But I
Right.
also like I sometimes I'm also like this in the train when I'm going for a longer time. I
Yeah.
look for a nice seat where I can sit alone.
Same. To be honest.
So,
I also don't want like 24/7 to interact with everyone,
yeah,
right? Like it's like sometimes you're also just like that's
I mean
I
that's
don't
also okay. That's
yeah,
fair.
I think that's but I think I think it's also in Germany it's more
Yeah,
like even if they can have a conversation they're like might as well avoid it.
definitely.
But I think that's also fine. But it's like we were discussing every different part of the world has a different flavor of
Yeah,
interaction and
and
communication.
that's nice.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
definitely.
And you can just experience it from traveling.
Definitely.
So I think you should go travel, book
Sweet.
your next journey. Where should they go? That's our last advice. Where should they go? What do you think? What is your advice?
I have traveled mostly in Europe, so I think if someone gets a chance to travel to Europe, I think they should definitely, definitely go to Southern Europe.
What is your country recommendation?
Definitely go to, so first of all, also go to Germany, I would say, if you're a bit
Mm-hmm.
into history.
Mm-hmm.
I think
True.
very fun
True.
places to see.
Yeah.
Then also, I would say Italy,
Mm-hmm.
big time, and then Spain, big time. And I would also recommend, it's expensive, but I would also recommend some cities of Switzerland
Hmm.
too.
Really nice. First of all, Italy. I love
Yeah,
Italy for sure. Italy's so nice. The food also,
yeah,
and the history. It's crazy. Germany, obviously, also, but also the Netherlands.
mm,
People are so lovely,
yeah,
like so nice.
okay.
It's also pretty. The language is like a cute German.
Yeah, I heard.
Sometimes the word I get, and then the rest is just okay.
Mm,
But it's so nice,
mm,
especially Amsterdam. Love it.
yeah,
So yeah, definitely would recommend that also.
very cool. Okay,
So nice. It was really nice talking to
yeah.
you. Enjoyed it like always.
Likewise, and where can people find you?
People can find us
Well,
actually on Spotify. Just look for Chai Chat with
I meant
Selina
your
and Saad.
own.
Oh, my own. My own is on TikTok, you mean?
Yeah,
My account is sch dot Selina.
mm,
That's pretty easy. This time I looked it up.
that's too good.
And where can people find you?
I'm Sada Life on TikTok and Instagram. So it's SAADA Life on TikTok and Instagram. And please go ahead. Where can people find this podcast?
The podcast is on Spotify,
Mm,
Chai Chat, and
mm,
we're also on YouTube, so you
mm.
can enjoy it from everywhere, all over the world.
Wow. Extrovert Pitbull.
I will link everything down below, and yeah, we see you soon.
See you
Bye
next time.
bye.
Ciao.
Tschüss.